Eddie,
Hi.
thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Now, it's been much talked about in this campaign that people talk about the project fear on one side, project fear on the other. But you are one of those relatively few people in public life who's prepared to say, I love the EU and this is why.
I wouldn't term it that way. I'm very positive on the EU. I think the EU has given me huge opportunities to work and to travel throughout the whole of Europe. I just want every young person, particularly young people, to be able to have the same opportunities, and older people as well. But young people need to get registered. And the 7th of June is coming up, so I'm going to go out 31 cities talking to young people, saying that they just need to get their smartphones, 2 minutes on this, and you can get registered by the 7th of June. And they should, it's the biggest decision of their lives and our lives. And I just don't want other people to tell them how their future should happen. They should have their voices heard, get registered so they can make their vote.
Let me get a little bit personal. You're a man of a certain age now. Why would young people be listening to you?
I don't know. If you actually ask young people, I mean, it's interesting. In the last election, people said, "Oh, we should get you talking to young people." I said, "Well, I'm older than most of the politicians going." I seem to, well, maybe because I'm transgender. I came out 31 years ago. I walked out the door back in 1985, and that was a difficult journey to do. But I'm a fighter. You know, I now tour France in French. I tour Germany in German. I've just started Spanish. I've run 27 marathons in 27 days out. I do very positive things which are quite young orientated. They're quite, I'm in here, I'm very young, whereas here I'm getting older.
Yeah.
And so I
try a very young berry on, if I may say so.
Well, I know. I had 2 badges on there, which is because I'm a British European. I'm proud of being British. I'm proud of being European. And I think young people want to know that. And if young people want to care about, if they care about the pound in their pocket, then I think it's good, economics-wise, to stay in the European Union. And also for travel, for the low-cost fares, you know, for flying, for their roaming charges, and their healthcare all across Europe. They should stay in Europe.
This is also the week, of course, in which lots and lots of actors and other people from the arts community sort of signed up alongside David Cameron from the Remain campaign.
Yeah.
And there was a huge bucket of ordure poured all over the paper saying, we don't want lovies to talk to us. Why do we go to actors and presumably comedians as well for advice?
Well, you see, I'm dyslexic. I can't even spell the word lovey. So I think if you're going to say whether anyone should listen to me, just judge me by my life, see what I've done in my life. If running 27 marathons in 27 days adds up to anything, if trying to be positive, I have open-handed politics. I've been political and an actor for some time. This isn't some new thing that I've just come up with.
You mentioned political, and you mentioned the politics a couple of times now. You describe yourself as a radical moderate, I think. Is that right?
I do radical,
in Labour Party terms.
I do radical things with a moderate message, you know. I think if you saw the double marathon on the last day in South Africa, that was slightly radical.
So very radical.
But when people notice what we're doing, it's now helped raise 2.3 million. So that's a moderate message, and that's helping in Britain and around the world.
So I'm just wondering where this puts you in Labour Party terms, because you're standing for the National Executive.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know whether you're a Corbyn supporter or not, but can I put it to you that after the polls of Labour Party members this week, Corbyn is completely unassailable now as your leader until the election?
Well, it's very good. Jeremy Corbyn is in for the Remain group, and so am I, and we're on the same side, so we're fighting away on that. So I just want to encourage people in this election, this referendum that's coming up, not election, it's a referendum, that they get registered and they get voting. And young people, a lot of young people don't know that it's actually happening. They know something's happening, but they don't know that it's 7th of June. It's only 2 weeks away.
Registration day.
Registration day. I mean, I'm just going to hammer on the registration day, because once they get registered, they can make up their minds.
They make up their minds. OK, one final thing. You mentioned transgender and so forth. There's been a lot...
Transgender, really?
You did.
Here?
Not me, anyway. But there's a huge amount of argument, particularly on university campuses at the moment. And on the one side, there's been some traditional feminists saying, we know what a woman is. A transgender person can't describe themselves as a woman. That's caused huge amounts of anger on the in the transgender community, and it's got very, very angry on both sides. So I just wonder what your perspective is there in your...
I'm just not going to wade in on this. I think it's
it's
difficult enough for us anyway. 31 years ago, I walked out the door. I've tried to fight an honest fight. I've played with a straight bat, I feel. Straight bat all my life. But I've tried to be open and honest, and surely being open and honest is better than being closed and lying. Surely that's a better way. And that's the same with the EU. Open and honest. I'm gigging in France. The French are now doing stand-up comedy here. So are the Germans. It's a beautiful thing. That's what humanity does. The EU is trying to be positive about humanity.